Podcast is brought to you by Snap Laces. Snap Laces' elite lacing system was designed for world-class athletes. They come in hundreds of color combinations so you can perform well and look great at the same time. Buy a set online today by clicking through the top image on pattonsports.com. LT360 is a health and weight loss company based in Brentwood, led by Coach Scott Oatsvall and Brent High. They have helped more than 700 clients in the last year get healthy, lose weight, and feel better with an all-natural program and simple approach to exercise and nutrition. LT360 offers free health and wellness seminars each week. For more information, visit their website at lt360.com or call them at 615-312-8244. Taziki's Mediterranean Cafe, Nashville's answer to fast, friendly, healthy comfort food. With a menu featuring assorted grilled meats, fresh veggies, and a dash of inspiration, Taziki's casual dining is perfect for lunch, before a movie, or a dinner featuring laughter and great memories. Originality is our nationality. With 7 Middle Tennessee locations, one of them is near you. Check www.tazikiscafe.com to select your nearest location and next favorite dish.
Hey, want to welcome everybody into the Patton Sports video cast, the first one for the 2016 football season. I'm Maurice Patton, and in my never-ending effort to be on camera with people taller than me, let me introduce you to this year's co-host, Terrence Smithson, former standout at Page High School, played college ball both at Tennessee State University and MTSU, and retired after 25 years with the Franklin Police Department as head of major crimes. So we're not expecting to have any problems out here. But he was with us on Monday's podcast. Hope you got a chance to listen to that. If you didn't, check it out on pattonsports.com, the website. You can get it there. We've also tweeted it out. But it's time to get it rolling. And if you notice over our shoulders, Independence is getting ready for their season opener with Brentwood, and that's kind of where we're going to start going around the area here. And the Eagles are defending Class 5A state champions, and you know, Terrence, as we talked a little bit on the website, on the podcast on Monday, for everything that they lost, they've still got a lot coming back.
They sure do. Look at the numbers over our shoulder here, and man, there's a lot of kids down there.
And a lot of talent down there as well. I think it kind of starts, well, if you know Scott Blade, you know it starts at quarterback. For a guy who played defense in college, he's one of the offensive masterminds probably in Middle Tennessee. And after they lose a guy like an Andrew Bunch, he feels awfully good about his quarterback situation with Brandon Hines coming in, a senior. They don't feel like, now you're not going to lose a guy like a Bunch and not miss a beat, but they feel pretty good about the quarterback situation right now.
Well, a lot of the defensive guys think they know all the holes in the offense, so that's why they want to become offensive coaches when they get on that, be in the head spot.
But you know, and it seems to have worked for him. I mean, they put up a lot of points last year, slung it around a lot. Expect to do a lot of the same thing this time around with Brandon Hines, with a guy like Landon Guidry, who has made his mark thus far on the defensive side of the ball as a safety. He's committed to Mississippi State, but he's going to play a lot on offense, kind of in the slot, which is, as I've talked to Scott Blade here over the offseason, Landon Guidry will be in the same position, and some of you folks watching and listening may recognize this. He's going to be in the same spot that Eric Gordon played at Hillsboro when they won the state championship with Blade a few years ago. So he's kind of the feature offensive piece for them.
It shows that he's going to be a very adaptable player if he can play both sides of the ball, and that'll come in handy when he gets to college, because just because you recruited at one place doesn't mean you're going to stay there. You may have to move.
And, you know, nice looking kid, big kid, but he can run, man. And, you know, I just don't think I recognized how quick he was until I saw some of his huddle tape here earlier in the preseason. He made a couple of plays against Overton in a scrimmage that he runs away from some folks on offense, and you know, he'll hit you on defense. So he's a lot of fun to watch. But they're going to throw it around. Guidry's going to be a big part of that, both in the passing game. He's going to get some handoffs as well. So trying to take some pressure off of Hines. Another kid who's going to help them offensively is a transfer from Louisville, a junior running back, Troy Henderson, who rushed for almost 1,000 yards up there last year.
Yeah, that kid looks good, looks real good. I can't wait to see him. As a matter of fact, I think up front, Isaiah Danilo is going to be a real asset for him in getting out in the open.
DeMello, who has kind of made his name on the wrestling mat, is going to be a key up front for them. So is Michael Weathers. So again, state championship defense, and they've got some pieces back that kind of make you think that they're going to be able to make another deep run. On the other side of the field Friday night, Brentwood coming in their second year under Ron Crawford, went 6-6 last year. That was a program that had really struggled in 2 seasons before that. I don't know that people expected them to be as successful as they were last year. But when you look at the schedule they played, again, they were 6-6. Their 6 losses were to Independence. They lost their opener last year to them 47-17. They lost to Ravenwood, who won the Class 6A state championship. Lost twice to Centennial, they lost to Franklin, and they lost to Henry County. So I don't know that there's a bad loss in there. So obviously they took some steps in the right direction under Crawford.
There's no shame in losing to those teams that you just mentioned. They're all in the hunt for the gold ball every year. And when you lose to those, it's no shame at all. But I think Coach Crawford always does a tremendous job, and it's good to have him back in Middle Tennessee.
It really is. Kind of got away from us for a little bit, went down to Cleveland, and managed to come back. And like you said, he's a good dude.
He is a good dude. I like him. I like his style of coaching and the results he gets from his players.
No doubt. TV game, this one will be on my TV 30 to open up the Friday Night Rivals series that they do so well. Brent Daugherty, Jonathan Hutton, and my guy Jay Gilmore down on the sideline. So if you don't want to fight the traffic and come out here to Thompson Station, it'll be on channel 30 starting at 7. Check that out. Independence opens up as the #1 team in Class 5A in the preseason Associated Press poll. They're number 3 in Mo's Elite 11. You can check that out on Mo Patton Sports as well. Brentwood comes in as an also receiving votes, but they were number 13 in the AP poll in 5A. So should be a pretty good matchup here. Staying in Williamson County, you got another big brawl when Centennial goes across town to Franklin. And there is so much going on with that matchup. Donnie Webb is the coach at Franklin. His wife Lee is the principal at Centennial. The first-year coach at Centennial, who Lee hired, is Matt Kreisky, who played for Donnie up at Henry County back at the turn of the millennium. Donnie was up there for 5 years. He's a native of Paris. He was there from 1999 to 2003. And by the way, Franklin's game next week is against Riverdale, where he will catch the other Kreisky twin, Will. So it's pretty interesting 2 weeks for Donnie.
Yeah, the teacher going up against his students.
Yeah, I think he may get a chance to do a little teaching this time around. Centennial won that matchup 20-0 last year. Again, it's the way of the world as far as high school athletics. Centennial lost a lot from that team. Obviously, 12-2 last year, went to the state semifinals, deepest playoff run in school history. You don't lose a Tyrell Dodson on both sides of the ball and not feel it. They had a bunch of other guys as well, but I think you're going to look for Devious Chrisman on both sides of the ball at receiver and at cornerback for Centennial. Look for Eli Katina on both sides of the line for them, and Nick Bell, who they moved from tight end to offensive tackle because of some injuries that they've sustained in the offensive line. He's still going to be a force at defensive end for him as well, but those are some guys to watch for Centennial, I think.
Yeah, the Bell kid, and it's going to be a real asset for them if they can control Max Ray and that bunch up front for Franklin, because I'm telling you, those Ray boys, 6'6" and 6'5", 280 pounds. That's a load.
That is a load. Max, a junior, is already committed to Georgia. Caden Williams, one of our Dirty 30 selections, is a senior tackle for them. And I think when offensive linemen are the first guys that you mentioned talking about a team, you kind of know what you're going to get. They've got a big kid back there, Mitch Rossi, who's going to be running the ball and also plays linebacker for them. They're going to play smash mouth. They're coming right at you. It's not going to be pretty, and Donnie Webb's okay with that, I think.
And I would be too. 3 yards in a cloud of dust is just fine with me.
Well, and I think you're going to see a lot of that Friday night in that Centennial Franklin game. Centennial ranked number 9 in the AP preseason poll in 5A. Franklin number 10 in the 6A poll. So both those teams got some expectations. Franklin 8-4 last year, went to the second round of the playoffs. Again, Centennial trying to get back after going to the semifinals in 5A. So another big matchup. Big Saturday night game. This thing has become quite a rivalry in a pretty short period of time, and they're playing it at Vanderbilt. Pearl-Cohn and Hillsboro. Hillsboro won it last year, 41-28, and a lot of activity on Twitter about this one, so it should be a lot of fun.
Tony Brunetti.
Yep.
I like to start off by talking about him. I love Tony Brunetti because he loves his players. I mean, he tells them to take care of the classroom, and he'll take care of getting them in school if they want to go. And I love that.
And he's done that.
He's done that. He's a man of his word. And not to mention the work that NPA does, one of your sponsors. They've just got so many offers for these recruits now. It's just wonderful.
Yeah, he does a great job. He does about as good a job as anybody in Nashville, I think, of getting his kids to the next level. And not just major schools, but the smaller schools as well. And I think he does a good job of getting them to levels where they can be successful and getting them scholarships.
Yes,
because I think in the end, that's the biggest thing, as long as those guys have a chance to further their education.
Get in where you fit in.
That's it. But they've got some talent over there at the Firebirds. They went to the 4A state finals last year, finished up 10-5. They're number 5 in the Associated Press 4A poll in the preseason, number 10 in Mo's Elite 11. Hillsboro comes in at number 12, basically, in the AP Class 5A poll, and they're number 7 in Mo's Elite 11, which is on the website, mopattonsports.com. Check it out. Pearl-Cohn, Jamarius Parker, the kid who had the big run in the championship game against Knoxville Catholic for the only touchdown, unfortunately. He's back. Keywan Vaughn, you probably recognize that name. His brother Keyshawn Vaughn is starting at Illinois and getting a lot of attention up there in the Big Ten. Darius Hunter probably be the key receiver for Pearl-Cohn. But they've got a load of skill players. Started off 1-3 last year, got it going late, and they're looking to take that next step.
Yes, and they have some size on that line. And Coach Brunetti has done a good job of recruiting his hallways, getting the big boys out there to play for him. And there's going to be a lot of speed on that field and should be a lot of running room. Of course, if they can contain Big Ben Hutch from Hillsboro.
Yeah, and that won't be an easy task. Hutch, that defense, I mean, they've got some players over there. Starts with Hutch up front. You've got Javonte Wiggins at linebacker who will hit anything that moves. Couple of guys in the secondary, Matthew Jackson and John Beats. And I'll tell you, I think Matthew Jackson is really anticipating this game because it was kind of his coming out party last year. He recovered a fumble in the end zone for a touchdown, and he took 99 yards for a pick 6 on the final play of the game in that 41-28 decision. So he's probably been licking his chops, and I imagine Pearl-Cohn will know where he is at all times as well. That's a big one. When we get back, we've got a few other big ones as well. John Mayer Builders proudly sponsors Mo Patton Sports Videocast. With over 1,500 homes built in Middle Tennessee, John Mayer Builders knows the importance of families and communities. They have numerous business awards to their credit, proving that John Mayer Builders is built to win. Like them on Facebook. John Mayer Builders, our reputation is building. Southern Athletic Fields Incorporated originated in 1996 when Bill Marbett formed a company specializing in baseball and softball field materials. SAF has since grown and now has sales reps to cover over 12 states with products servicing many outdoor sports. Southern Athletic Fields takes great pride in working with their customers to achieve the best athletic field possible. Visit their website at www.southern-athleticfields.com or like them on Facebook. Dirt, you gotta love it.
Great teams have talent. They also have the necessary tools for success. BSN Sports delivers these tools whether your team needs uniforms, apparel, or athletic equipment to achieve greatness. Just like a winning teammate, BSN Sports is there for you. Their unmatched service ensures that you have best-in-class equipment for championship-level performance, plus uniforms and athletic apparel from the best brands in the industry to look your best when hoisting your trophy.
Express Employment Professionals, North Nashville in downtown, owned by respected business leaders Christy and Jason Patrick, is the premier employment agency in the community. Express is one of the community's largest employers, consistently working over 500 people at over 125 private businesses each week in Davidson County. Whether you are a company looking for the next great employee or a candidate looking for the next great job, Express is the employment resource for you. Call them at 615-313-3690 or visit their website at www.expresspros.com/in-Nashville-TN. Like them on Facebook at Express Employment Professionals, Nashville North and Downtown.
Terrence, over in Rutherford County, the big matchup to me, or the most fascinating matchup, and we're going to get to Saturday in a second, but the most fascinating Friday night matchup, Laverne and Smyrna, the north end of the county kind of getting together there. We talked a little bit about Laverne again on the podcast earlier in the week. It all kind of starts, obviously, with the two UT commitments, Princeton Fant and Malik Gray. And, you know, from an offensive standpoint, if you're Key Anthony Connor, you got to like coming under center or sitting back there in the gun, looking out to one side and seeing Malik, looking out to the other side and seeing Princeton, and hopefully seeing one of them single covered.
Yes. Well, you like to look out there, but the question is, how much time is he going to have to look out
to look out there? Yeah.
And if they can get open quick, they have a good shot. However, unfortunately, I think the depth of Smyrna may be too much for that line at Laverne. They've got some big boys on that line over there at Smyrna, and of course Laverne can compete with anybody size-wise. It's just that competed 100% the whole for 4 quarters is difficult when the other team is running
in and out.
Yeah.
And maybe that's the difference between Laverne being a 5A team and Smyrna being a 6A team, just the number situation there.
Yeah.
Smyrna went to the quarterfinals in 6A last year, finished up 9-4. We talk about Rutherford County and Region 2 6A over there a lot. They finished 3rd in that region last year, looking to elevate. Got a nice quarterback, John Turner. Sits back there and throws it, but moves around pretty well as well. MTSU commitment. Casey Perkins has gotten a lot of attention the last couple of years. He's a big-time college recruit as well. But they've got a sophomore, Blake Watkins, who stepped in there and made some big plays for them, both on offense and on special teams last year. So they've got some talent, not just the size.
You're right. And Mr. Turner is very efficient, as we talked about on the podcast. That cat, when he throws him, he hits him.
and that makes Matt Williams a lot happier, yeah. I'm sure, because he doesn't like to throw it a whole lot. And so when they can get something good out of it when they do, then that's so much the better. Smyrna won this matchup 16-13 last year. Laverne looking to crack through, finished up 6-5 last year. A little inconsistency. And again, a lot of expectations for that ball club, I think, just when you roll out the two guys and you've got that UT commitment in front of their name.
You're right. However, we don't need to read too much into that because that's just 2 guys. It takes 11 to play the game. And you got to rely on those other 9 guys to get it done. And we wonder just how much talent is in that other 9 guys.
We'll find out soon enough. And also, Fant didn't play in the Jamboree last week, is that right?
That's right, he didn't. Coach Stanton Stevens erred on the side of caution to hold him out, and I think that was a great decision, especially coming off of ACL.
Right, so I guess it'll be kind of interesting to see whether he's full go this week. Hopefully he will be, because like you said, there were a lot of people that went to that Oakland-Laverne matchup over at Blackman kind of hoping to see those guys. So you want to see these guys healthy, especially when you've heard the build-up and that kind of thing. It's exciting to be able to get out and see those folks. So hopefully Princeton's okay and he'll be able to go Friday night against Smyrna. We are now reaching what I'm referring to as the town and country section of the program. You remember that jamboree they used to have down at Vanderbilt, where they would bring in some of the top programs from out in the area and some of the top programs from Nashville?
I do.
Yeah. We're old. But no, Stewart's Creek goes over to Overton. The Red Hawks 6-4 last year. Overton 7-5, went to the second round of the 6A playoffs. Stewart's Creek shocked the Bobcats last year, I think, 16-8. Well, I know they beat them 16-8. I think it was a shock. And I think it definitely got Steve Williams and the Bobcats' attention this time around.
Well, I don't think it's going to be a shock this time, Mo. Zach Long and the Belize wide receiver and Haraway at quarterback. It could be a long evening for the Bobcats.
At home.
At
home. And again, the Bobcats, speaking of Tennessee commitments, they've got Theo Jackson, big-time defensive back for them, who will see some time at quarterback as well, but they've been working a couple of guys there. Sam Mast, the sophomore, who played a lot during the baseball season, catcher.
Wow.
Yeah, so you know, this is a guy who hasn't necessarily played a lot of football at the varsity level, but has seen a lot of time athletically at the varsity level, and so it'll be intriguing to see how well that translates.
Well, when you're an athlete, you're an athlete, and when you get on the field, the only thing they got to do is point you which way to go. You know, some coaches will say, well, I couldn't find a way to get him on the field, yet he was my best athlete on the team. It's not a problem with that athlete, it's a problem with that coach.
Well, I think we're going to see both those guys under center, Sam Mast and Theo Jackson, and whichever one of them it is, I imagine they're going to be handing it off a pretty good bit to Tavarius Travis for Overton, a guy who rushed for about 1,200 yards last year. And they've got a senior group that has really kind of come up and gelled together for Steve Williams. Stewart's Creek has their attention.
Stewart's Creek has the numbers.
And they've got the numbers for a 5A program. I think this will be one of the more intriguing matchups of the Friday night. And again, Steve Williams, a former Rutherford County assistant, worked down at Blackman, so he kind of knows what he's getting into.
Yeah, if he doesn't, he will now, because I tell you what, they in that part of the Rutherford County, they're saying the creek is rising. And I'm thinking that maybe they've already flooded.
Well, you know, when they opened that school and they hired David Martin, who had had so much success over Goodpasture, you kind of felt like they were going to get there. You just didn't know how quickly. And so I don't think anybody's necessarily surprised that we're talking about Stewart's Creek the way that we are.
I agree.
To continue the town and country theme, Hendersonville, one of the top 5A programs in the Mid-State, goes to McGavock. The Commandos went 10-2 last year. Their two losses, they lost to Hillsborough in a bit of a stinker, for lack of a better phrase, 49-21, and they lost to this Independence team 38-7 in the second round of the 5A playoffs. So I think whenever you think about Hendersonville, you think Bruce Hatfield, you think that wing tee. And
it's smash mouth.
It really is. I mean, the wing tee is typically an equalizer type offense, where when you don't necessarily have the athletes, you go to it to try to maybe deceive some folks. What you think you saw, you did not see. But they run it with athletes.
They run it with athletes, and they run it a little different. They come straight at you a lot. And with those big boys on the line, they got Brandon Dove, Austin P commitment. He's a real player. He comes off that ball and he's getting a bad mood, buddy.
You know, I was watching some of the Titans preseason game the other night against San Diego, and they were talking about Mike Malarkey's phrase, exotic smash mouth.
Yeah, that's right.
I think that kind of applies to this Hendersonville team, because if you're covering a Hendersonville game, it's such a pain because they have about 12 ball carriers usually every night. But and they really split it up, but you never know who's going to get you. I think this year Anthony Hughes is going to be the guy to watch offensively. Plays both sides, running back, linebacker, really started to come on for them last year. The quarterback, Brett Coker, is a junior, and he's going to be a guy to watch. And as Terrence mentioned, Brandon Dove is a kid who is already committed to Austin P. And with the job that coaching staff up there is doing, they're not taking a whole lot of slaps. So you know that Mr. Dove can play. McGavock, again, 7-5 last year, advanced to the second round of the 6A playoffs, lost at White Station 37-36. And that was a pretty highly touted White Station team. So kind of tells you what McGavock and Jay Gore are capable of when they're clicking on all cylinders. They lost to Hendersonville 24-14 last year. Be interesting to see what this one looks like this time around.
Cornelius Pirtle, number 4, wide receiver, goes by the nickname of X Factor.
And he is, huh?
Yeah, watch out for him. Number 1, the quarterback, Williams.
Watch out for him?
Watch out for him.
Yeah, and they could hook up quite a bit, huh?
They could hook up quite a bit. If either one of them has the ball in their hands, it's going to be a race to the end zone.
Okay. All right. Got a little intel here from Mr. Smithson. That's why we brought him on. Hey, When we get back, we got a couple of other Saturday night matchups we want to tell you about and kind of bring you up to speed on what's going on the website, mopattonsports.com. We'll be right back. Tzatziki's Mediterranean Cafe, Nashville's answer to fast, friendly, healthy comfort food. With a menu featuring assorted grilled meats, fresh veggies, and a dash of inspiration, Tzatziki's casual dining is perfect for lunch, before a movie, or a dinner featuring laughter and great memories. Originality is our nationality. With 7 Middle Tennessee locations, one of them is near you. Check www.tzatzikiscafe.com to select your nearest location and next favorite dish. At National Playmakers Academy, developing NPA athletes comes in threes. NPA develops its student athletes' academic, social, and football-specific skills. Next, NPA develops them for better exposure today, recruitment tomorrow, and college education through scholarships for the rest of their lives. We are proud of the outstanding athletes we have developed. We are more proud of the college graduates we have prepared. Work with National Playmakers Academy for developing gifted athletes into productive citizens.
Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers combine the best of bowling, games, food, drink, and fun. For all Middle Tennessee residents, Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers are the ideal destination for family entertainment. The safe, friendly environment is perfect for birthday parties for kids of all ages or business outings for adults who work too hard. Our friendly staff and fun atmosphere will help create those enjoyable memories with your coworkers, friends, and loved ones. Don't forget to sign your kids up for our Kids Bowl free summer program. Visit us online at strikeandsparebowling.com or come see us in person at any of our nearby Strike and Spare locations in Donaldson, Hendersonville, Hermitage, Murfreesboro, and the Tusculum area for more details. We'll see you soon.
Terrence over in Murfreesboro Saturday night over at MTSU. They've got the second Middle Tennessee Football Classic. Last year, Oakland and Blackman played Hoover and Clay Chalkville, I believe it was. This year you've got Oakland and Riverdale playing Jackson Northside and Ooltewah. I think this was an odd year for the Alabama schools, and I think something came up that they were asked to stay in state this year or something. I'm not sure exactly how that worked because Hewitt Truss was going over to NBA. But at any rate, they lost their matchups and had to scramble to fill them in an odd year scheduling wise. So they had to do a little dancing around to keep this thing going. But again, Oakland plays against Jackson Northside, and that's an interesting matchup because this will be the debut for former Titan Donnie Nicky as head coach down at Jackson Northside.
Yep, they got some new uniforms down there. They had a benefactor from Nike, and they got a Division I prospect down there. Big defensive lineman, tight end named Emerson. He's got offers from Alabama and Michigan State, and he's like 6'5", 275, so we'll see. We'll see what's going on there.
That at tight end, that'll play, won't it?
It'll play.
Yeah. Obviously, you know what Oakland's got. They're coming off a 12-2 finish last year. Jackson Northside went 9-3 in Class 4A. They were ranked number 10 in the Associated Press preseason poll in 4A. Oakland's number 2 in 6A in the AP poll. And they're also number 2 in Mosey Elite 11. Again, check that out on the website, mopattonsports.com. We've been talking about Oakland. You're probably tired of hearing about them, but we think they're going to be fun to watch this year, and not just those two SEC commitments, but again, Brendan Matthews at quarterback, I think he's on the rise. Lazarius Patterson is a game breaker at running back. They got a lot of talent.
They do, and starting up front with Elijah Dobbins. Got several offers, got like 8 offers now on the table for him, and he's a hard worker, and he's leading that offensive front. And we may have to use him on defense some too.
There we go. The other game, Ooltewah, which went 10-3 in 5A last year, currently ranked just outside the top 10 in the preseason Associated Press poll, takes on Riverdale. This is an Owls team. They're pretty big across the front, and they've got a running back coming in Cameron Turner, who went for almost 1,000 yards last year. They could provide a little bit of a challenge for a Riverdale team making its debut under Will Kreisky. We talked about Matt earlier in the show over at Centennial. Both the twins getting their first head coaching jobs in the same year, so pretty interesting little family development there, and I'm sure they'll be talking late Friday night, early Saturday morning and comparing notes there.
Fans going to that game, remember number 59 for Ooltewah. Avery Black goes by the nickname of IHOP because he pancakes everybody.
All righty then. Pancakes.
Pancakes.
All right,
Yes.
I like it. I
Getting
like
hungry?
it. We can't talk about pancakes. Again, Will Kreisky coming in behind Ron Adelot, had a lot of success over there at Riverdale. They've got a bunch of talent yet again, starting with Gentry Bonds, kid who's got a lot of Division I Power 5 offers. Marquell Odom and Jarek Campbell, Jarek, how do you pronounce that?
You're doing good.
Okay, cool. Those guys will all be involved in the passing game. Gentry's a big-time defensive back. I think that's where he's projected at the collegiate level. And up front, Nick Boykin, we've talked about him more than once, two-time state wrestling champion at the 285-pound class. He also gets it done at nose guard for him. And DeAndre Lideker, who played at Oakland last year, is transferred over to Riverdale, may or may not go with some knee issues, but if he does go, he's somebody to keep an eye out for.
I don't look for Dre to play in this game. He says he is. We'll see. Also, the running back, Michael Scruggs, he's out with a collarbone injury. Coach Kreisky has done a great job of recruiting his hallways because he was about to have a bunch of defections after the previous regime left out, but when they hired him, they decided to stay, and so he's got some options. It just depends on how many of these young guys that he's recruited from the hallways can actually play because they have limited experience.
Well, but
they're big.
They're big, and you know, there's a lot of talent over there.
A lot of talent.
So you feel like Kreisky can get them moving in the right direction, and just getting them out there is a good start.
It's a great start. That's sometimes when you get a new job, that's what you have to do is recruit your own school. Recruit the hallways and get those kids out there because there's a lot of talent walking the hallways that just hadn't played.
For whatever reason.
For whatever reason.
Yeah.
And he's got some big boys out there. I saw him at the Jamboree. There's some beef on the Riverdale squad.
Mo Patton Sports Videocast is brought to you by Snap Laces. Snap Laces' elite lacing system was designed for world-class athletes. They come in hundreds of color combinations so you can perform well and look great at the same time. Buy a set online today by clicking through the top image on mopattonsports.com. LT360 is a health and weight loss company based in Brentwood, led by Coach Scott Oatsvall and Brent High. They have helped more than 700 clients in the last year get healthy, lose weight, and feel better with an all-natural program and simple approach to exercise and nutrition. LT360 offers free health and wellness seminars each week. For more information, visit their website at lt360.com or call them at 615-312-8244. John Mayer Builders proudly sponsors Mo Patton Sports Videocast. With over 1,500 homes built in Middle Tennessee, John Mayer Builders knows the importance of families and communities. They have numerous business awards to their credit, proving that John Mayer Builders is built to win. Like them on Facebook. John Mayer Builders, our reputation is building.
We're going to run through these and kind of introduce Mo's Pick Six and give you guys a chance to get involved. We've identified what we think are the top 6 games. I know who I'm going with. Let's see who you've got. Tweet me at #Mostradamus with your picks of the following 6 games. If you get more of them right than I do, you'll go into a drawing for a Taziki's Mediterranean Cafe gift card. 8 locations across Middle Tennessee that you can use those at, and let's see if you can get one. Let's start with the Brentwood at Independence game. Who do we like in this one?
I'm feeling Coach Crawford, man. I like Coach Crawford.
Ooh, okay. You like Coach Crawford. I'm going with the defending state champs. I wouldn't be surprised if Brentwood somehow pulls it off, but I'm going with the Eagles in this one. Centennial Franklin.
Centennial Franklin. Well, I got to go with Franklin in that big offensive line. I think they're just going to overwhelm Centennial in that game.
I tend to agree with you on that one. I think it's going to be not very pretty, but terribly effective, and I think Franklin gets out with the win in that one. Pearl-Cohn Hillsborough.
Pearl-Cohn Hillsborough. It's going to be a lot of points in that game, I believe, but I'm going to go with Hillsborough in that contest. Even though I love Coach Brunetti, I think Hillsborough is going to pull it out some kind of way.
I think Hillsborough wins it, but I do like the way Coach Brunetti puts a schedule together. He puts his guys in pressure situations early in hopes that it'll pay off late. And for the most part, that's been exactly the way it's worked for him. So, you know, going out and scheduling tough like that, kudos to them. I think they come out of this one 0-1 though. Laverne Smyrna.
Smyrna.
Okay, enough said. I like the Bulldogs in this one as well. Again, their numbers, their depth, and I just think that they, like you said, will probably wear Laverne down in the end, but it wouldn't surprise me if Laverne's able to pull out a couple of big plays and make it close. Stewart's Creek, Overton.
Stewart's Creek.
Okay.
Creek's rising.
You know, I like Coach Martin. I like that Red Hawks program. I'm going to go with Overton in this one. I think they're going to make a couple of big plays and switch some momentum late in this ball game. I like Overton at home. Hendersonville, McGavick.
Hendersonville.
Okay.
Going with that offensive line.
I'm going with that offense. I think it's tough to get ready for until you're out there with it. And if you get your head or you get out of position, Hendersonville can take advantage of it so quick. I like Hendersonville in this one. Let's see who y'all like. Again, hit me, #Mostradamus. Let me know what y'all think about these 6 games. If you pick more of them right than I did, you go on a drawing for a free Taziki's Mediterranean Cafe gift card. Also, be sure and check out the website mopattonsports.com to see who's the latest on our Dirty 30, the list of the top 30 senior high school football players here in Middle Tennessee. Check out the Elite 11, see who's #1 in the Mid-State this week and what they do this weekend. That's Terrence Smithson. I'm Maurice Patton. Thanks for joining us here on the inaugural 2016 Mo Patton Sports Videocast. We'll see you at a ball game real soon.